Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech, and in this video I'll be talking about the best features of the Oppo Reno 10x zoom. By the way guys, I've already posted a dedicated video for the tips and tricks section. Link for that is in the description. Definitely check that out. Now with that said, the first best feature about this phone is definitely its shark fin pop-up camera. Now, unlike many other phones with just a rectangular pop-up camera, this phone comes with a shark fin pop-up camera, which definitely looks much cooler than other phones. It takes about 0.8 seconds to pop up, it has been tested over 200,000 times, and it even has free fall protection, just like the OnePlus 7 Pro. So if you're using the front-facing camera or if the shark fin is opened, when it detects a fall, front camera will automatically close. So that's free fall protection, and this is one of the few phones that has this feature. Now the next best thing about this phone would definitely be performance. This phone sports a Snapdragon 855 processor with Adreno 640 GPU built using 7nm architecture with 6GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. In terms of performance, it is a beast, and Oppo has even priced this phone pretty aggressively at just 40,000 rupees, which is once again a pretty great thing. Now the next best thing about this phone would definitely be its display. This phone sports a 6.6-inch AMOLED display with Full HD Plus resolution with the new 19.5:9 aspect ratio that gives it about 93.1% screen to body ratio, and it even has a 2.5D curved Corning Gorilla Glass 6 for additional protection. Now this is the newer AMOLED display, which is more power efficient and can display many more colors than the previous AMOLED screens. To keep it simple, picture quality is great, sunlight reliability is good, colors look a bit saturated, but that's what we all want. Overall, display is truly awesome because there isn't any notch or a punch hole design to it. Now the next best thing on this phone would be the in-display fingerprint scanner. Even the previous Oppo F11 Pro came with an in-display fingerprint scanner, but it was kinda slow. While on this phone, it is super fast. You can say it is as fast as a OnePlus 7 Pro, or maybe equally fast. Anyway, in-display fingerprint scanner on this phone is super fast and it is pretty usable. And you can also change the animation style if you want. Now going on next, you also get a super fast face unlock feature. Just like all the previous Oppo phones, face unlock works really fast on this phone, but you just have to wait for the shark fin camera to open up. Once it opens up, it instantly unlocks your phone. In good lighting conditions and even in low lighting conditions, it was super fast, and surprisingly, even in complete darkness, it was super fast. So overall, face unlock works really well on this phone. But personally, I think face unlock works better on the Reno than on the OnePlus 7 Pro. Now going on next, this phone also comes with a new haptic engine. For the first time, it has an X-axis linear motor which is supposed to give a true-to-life vibration. I really can't talk more about that, but based on my experience, haptic feedback on this phone is pretty good. In fact, it is definitely better than the OnePlus 7 Pro and way better than all the previous Oppo phones. So overall, the new haptic feedback on this phone is something you're really gonna appreciate. Now going on next, you also get VOOC Charging 3.0. It has a maximum output of 20 watts and can charge your 4000 mAh battery up to 80% in 1 hour. That's 0 to 80% in just 60 minutes. That's pretty quick. Now going on next, it also comes with some pretty good cameras on the front and rear. On the rear, you get a 48 megapixel primary camera with f1.7 aperture with Sony IMX586 sensor, which is the same sensor seen on the flagships like OnePlus 7 Pro and the Redmi K20 Pro. On the front, you get a 16 megapixel camera with f2.0 aperture. Now the cameras on this phone are definitely not the best in the price segment, especially if you consider the Pixel 3a, but they are quite good. These are some sample shots. Now the next best thing about this phone would be that periscope camera with 10x zoom. On the rear below the two cameras, you get a 13 megapixel telephoto lens with f3.0 aperture, optical image stabilization, and a periscope setup that can give you 6x optical zoom, 10x hybrid zoom, and you can still further zoom in up to 60 times. These are some sample pictures. Now going on next, you also get a wide angle camera on the rear. It is an 8 megapixel camera with f2.2 aperture with 120-degree field of view, and these are some sample shots. Now going on next, this phone also comes with a new feature called off-screen lock, which is like always on display, which simply displays clock whenever you lock your phone, to avoid screen burn-in issues every time clock position changes. Unlike always on display feature, this feature can be scheduled to turn on only at a specific time. Now going on next, this phone also comes with stereo speakers and they are super loud. Here's a quick sample. Now going on next, this phone also has Dolby ATMOS support for the speakers, and you can switch to different sound profiles from the sound settings. Now going on next, this phone also has 3D mic stereo sound recording. While recording video on this phone, you get a choice to record audio in 3D, where the mic records 360-degree surround sound in landscape mode. Now going on next, we get the Android Pie based gestures that we have seen on the stock Android, where we get just two buttons, that's back and home, and an empty space. Back button acts like a regular back button, you can touch it to go back. Next we have the home button, if you touch it, it takes you to home. If you swipe up, it takes you to the recent apps page. And finally, you can swipe the home button left or right to switch between applications. It is a cool feature, but it's not working properly on this phone, so I would suggest you to stick with something else. Now going on next, we also have new gestures called swipe gesture from both sides. Now once you enable this feature, you can swipe from the left side or right side to go back, just like on Xiaomi phones, and you can swipe from the bottom to go home. You can swipe and hold from the bottom for recent tabs, and finally, you can swipe and hold from the left side or right side to quickly switch the current application with the previous application. These gestures are just like the ones seen on the Xiaomi phones, MIUI, and even Android Q. Now going on next, we have one-handed mode. You can access it from the toggle, and once you enable it, screen size will shrink and you can use your phone much more comfortably in a single hand. Next, we have a new voice recorder app pre-installed. It comes with 3 different modes: standard, meeting, and interview mode. Give this app a try. Now coming back to the cameras, next we have a 48 megapixel mode. Now the rear camera on this phone does have a 48 megapixel camera, but by default it takes pictures in 12 megapixels. So if you really want a 48 megapixel picture, this is how you can do it. Now going on next, this phone also comes with slow motion video recording. We can either record video in 1080p or 720p, and here's a quick sample. Now going on next, this phone offers electronic image stabilization while recording video using the rear camera. Here's the sample footage. So guys, this is the video recorded using the Oppo Reno 10x zoom, and the audio is set to 3D audio. And I'm currently recording this video at 1080p at 60 fps, and right now we are watching the footage at 1x zoom. Now let's try 2x. This is the 2x zoom, and that's it. We can do a physical zoom, it's just zooming in to the primary lens. While recording video, we can't use the wide angle lens or the telephoto lens. So this is the sample footage. Now I'm walking around. You can also check out the stabilization. By the way, this camera also has optical image stabilization, and it's also using electronic image stabilization. So the footage looks pretty stable. Next, this phone also offers 4K video recording at 60 fps. In the default camera interface, we can only change the screen resolution, but if we go to the camera settings, we can even change the frame rate. So guys, now I'm recording this video in 4K resolution at 60 fps. Audio is from the phone itself, and I'm just walking around so you can check out the stabilization offered by the phone. and you can also hear the noise cancellation. Now I'm gonna walk a bit faster. Now going on next, this phone also comes with a feature called NIGHTSCAPE, which is a dedicated night mode to take better pictures in low lighting conditions. Oppo calls it the Ultra Night Mode 2.0. Here are some sample shots. Now going on next, we have Dazzle Color. Now this is a very unique feature available on this phone. Once you turn it on, everything will look super saturated and images will look very pleasing. These are some sample shots. Next, this phone even has support for dual 4G and dual VoLTE. Now this is a SIM card tray and obviously it has support for dual SIM, and along with that it has support for dual 4G and dual VoLTE. So you can use 2 SIMs in 4G or 2 SIMs in VoLTE, like even 2 Geo SIMs on the same phone without any issues. Next, this phone even supports native video calling. Here's a quick preview. Next, this phone has support for portrait mode for both the front and rear cameras. Now these are the sample pictures, which is something we don't see on other phones. Next we have some camera gestures. For both the front and rear camera, we have a very common gesture called tap to take picture. Just enable it and touch the preview window to take a picture. For the front camera, you also get the palm gesture. Just enable the feature and once your phone sees your palm, it will take a picture in 2 seconds. This particular feature is really handy while taking selfies. Next we have navigation gestures. Now these are the navigation keys, and like on any other Android phone, we have the back, home and recent apps button. On this phone, we can replace these buttons with navigation gestures just like the iPhone 10 or like the OnePlus 6 and the 6T. Most of the phones come with only one navigation gesture, but on this phone we have 4. And my favorite one would be the first one. Now going on next, this phone has a very unique feature called Smart Sidebar. It is enabled by default. And this is how it looks like. You have some quick shortcuts, quick actions and some quick applications. You can access it from anywhere. Even while watching videos or playing games in full screen mode, you can swipe near the notch area to bring it up. From here you can quickly launch applications, take a screenshot, record the screen, block banner notifications, and finally open few applications in a floating window. Next we have Assistive Ball. Now just in case if navigation gestures are not really your thing, but you still want a much more immersive experience, you can enable Assistive Ball. Once you enable this feature, you'll see a floating bubble that can do multiple actions. Now first you need to select the operation mode. You have gestures and tap mode. I'll go with gestures. Now you can tap once to go back, double tap for multitasking, and touch and hold to go home, just like the iPhones and iPads. Now this is another way to interact with your phone and gives you a much more immersive experience. Next we have some screen off gestures, like double tap to wake. Just enable it and double tap the screen to wake it up. Next you can draw a note to open the camera application. We can also draw a V to toggle the torch. We can also draw characters like greater than or less than for music controls. And finally, you can add custom gestures like you can draw a W to open WhatsApp, M for phone dialer, and so on. Next we have raise to wake. Now once you enable this feature, you can simply raise your phone or pick it up from a table and your phone wakes up and then displays the lock screen. Now if you are already using the face unlock feature on this phone, you can simply raise your phone and then your phone will automatically unlock in an instant. It will wake up, show the lock screen, sees your face and then use facial data to unlock the phone. So using these two features together will give you a much more immersive experience. Next we have 3-finger screenshot. Now before I show you that, let me show you how to take a normal screenshot. On any Android phone, if you want to take a screenshot, press the volume down button and power button both at the same time and your phone will take a screenshot. It is as simple as that. Now for some reason, if that's a bit difficult for you or if you need something more easy, you can enable this 3-finger screenshot gesture. Now once you enable this feature, you can simply swipe down using 3 fingers to take a screenshot. Personally, this is my favorite feature or my favorite way to take a screenshot, and nowadays most of the phones support this feature. Now going on next, we have long screenshot. Now to take a longer screenshot, first you need to take a normal screenshot. You can either use the buttons or the gesture. Now once you take a screenshot, you get this preview. Now click long screenshot. Now just scroll the page up as long as you want to take a longer screenshot. Next we have some smart call features, where your phone automatically answers the call when you place the phone near your ear, switch on the speaker when you move your phone away from your face, and finally mute the incoming call if you flip the phone. These are definitely handy and you should give it a try yourself. Now going on next, we have a super handy shortcut to trigger Google Assistant with the power button. Once you enable this feature, you can long press the power button to trigger Google Assistant. It's a nice feature and can be quite useful while using the navigation gestures, but I don't think this power button will last longer if you use it continuously. Next we have an app lock built into the system, and unlike most phones, we can unlock locked applications either by using the password or the fingerprint scanner, and even by using the face unlock feature. So if you're already using face unlock feature on your phone, most of the time you won't even see the lock screen. Now because of this one particular feature, you can lock any application you want and you won't be inconvenienced in any way. Now going on next, you also have the option to record calls automatically on your phone. So to enable that, go to settings, then select system apps, then select calls. From here select call recording and then enable the toggle that says all recording to record all the calls automatically on your phone. Next we have night shield. Now once you enable this feature, it puts a warm tint on the screen and thereby filters the blue light. According to research, blue light emitted by our displays affects sleep at night. So to prevent that, we have this night shield mode and you can enable it manually or schedule it to automatically turn on or turn off at a specific time. Next we have Startup Manager. Now just like the name suggests, it's a feature that allows you to stop applications from auto starting in the background. Now most of these applications automatically start in the background and then drain your battery life. And for the most part, just applications like maybe Instagram or WhatsApp needs to be allowed to auto start. So you can disable auto start permission for all these applications and further improve the battery life. Next we have Wi-Fi tethering. Now this is a very unique feature which allows you to share existing Wi-Fi connection to other devices. It's like your regular hotspot, but instead of using your mobile data, it will use your existing Wi-Fi connection. Now you might think this might not be a useful feature, but let's say if you're in an airport or a hotel where you have access to only one device or a Wi-Fi, then in that situation, you can share the existing single Wi-Fi connection to multiple devices. Next we have a security feature which protects your personal information. Whenever any application tries to read your personal information like messages, call logs and contacts, this feature provides fake data to those applications. Many applications on your phone try to read your personal information. Even Amazon does that. So using this feature, we can still use those applications safely without sharing your personal information. Next we have clone apps, which is a feature that allows you to use 2 instances of the same application. Like you can have 2 WhatsApp accounts, 2 Facebook accounts and 2 Instagram accounts on the same phone. This is definitely a very handy feature, but it is still limited to only very few applications. Let's say if I want to use 2 Paytm accounts on the same phone, we can't do that. Next we have Game Space. Now this feature or application just tries to improve your gaming experience and gives you a lot more cool features. Now once you add all your games to this game space and then open that game, your phone will divert all the resources to improve your gaming experience. It means faster game load speeds, better visuals, and more than that, it gives you the option for Do Not Disturb mode, where you won't be interrupted with annoying notification sounds or visual disturbances like banner notifications. You also have different power profiles to improve the performance or battery life. It also gives you the option to disable auto brightness, which is missing on many phones out there. Next we have split screen mode. Now split screen mode has been on Android for a very long time, but on this phone we have some more features. Now to start a split screen mode, as always, you can simply press and hold the recent tabs button. Or on this phone, you can also use the 3-finger gesture. Simply swipe up using 3 fingers to open the current application in a split screen mode. You can choose a secondary application from the list below. Personally, I like this gesture and I wish every other phone has it. Next we have automatic on off. Now this is another weird name for schedule power on and power off, and using these settings, we can automatically turn on and turn off your phone at a specific time. Next we have something called Smart Assistant on your default launcher or your default home screen. You can simply go to the leftmost corner to find the Smart Assistant, which simply displays weather information, calendar events, and some quick shortcuts. You can enable it or disable it from here. Next we have Smart Energy Saver. Now this is another feature to improve your battery life. If you enable it, your phone will automatically manage all the apps running in the background to improve the battery life. If you disable it, you get the complete list of applications that are installed on your phone, and you can manually choose to block an application from running in the background. Next we have Smart Driving. This is another fancy sounding feature which simply gives you various features to manage calls and messages while driving. We have a similar feature on many other phones, but on this phone, we can automatically enable it or turn it on when you connect your Bluetooth in your car, or else you can manually turn it on if you have a bike. Next we have Kid Space. If your kid is troubling you about your phone, he wants to play some games, or maybe sometimes he accidentally purchases stuff, Kid Space can be quite useful for you. Once you configure this Kid Space, your kid will be able to only use specific applications that you choose, and he will be able to use your phone only for a specific amount of time. Once again, it's a nice feature, but if your kid already knows your password, it's completely useless. Next we have a feature called Anti-Harassment, which, as the name suggests, is a feature to block calls and messages. But unlike other phones, it gives you some additional options. Next we have Private Safe. Now this feature is more like an application or like a vault where you can hide all kinds of files. Just like the app lock, we can have a completely different password from your lock screen, and we can unlock it using your fingerprint or your facial data. Personally, I suggest you to use Gallery Vault. So guys, those are the best features of the Oppo Reno 10x Zoom. If I missed out on anything important, do let me know by commenting below this video, and definitely check out my video on the tips and tricks section. Link for that is in the description. So guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you're planning to buy this phone, use the link in the description. It always helps the channel. And if you want us to make any specific video, tweet out to us with the hashtag AskGreedyTech on Twitter, and we will try to make it as soon as possible. I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech signing off. Have a nice day.